while they are within this new digital world that we all find ourselves in, that they can thrive in that world safely. And there's a place I can go to and help other parents too, and share with other parents of like, this is where you can go to find out the safeguards. This is where you can go to help navigate these platforms. And we call them parent ultimate guides, and where you can, find out not only movie ratings and book ratings, really, but ratings on what platform is safe for your child, right? Or what tool may not be safe for your child. And so really is critical work that we're doing, and I just love it so much.
Hey there, and welcome to Impact After Hours, where changemakers sign off from work and log into life. I'm Camila Renton, CEO and co-founder of Hueman Group Media and your host. Today, I'm excited to find out what Edda Collins Coleman, VP of Communications at Common Sense Media, is really like off-duty. For more than 20 years, Edda has been a champion for children and families in the digital world. At Common Sense Media, she works to protect their privacy rights and identify the potential harms of AI. Have you heard of digital citizenship? If you're online, you have one. And Common Sense Media supports nearly 1.4 million educators, K through 12, by providing a free curriculum on this topic. It's all about understanding the different worlds we're in and how to navigate them safely. Well, here on Impact After Hours, we have dual worlds too. The world of social impact and the world of after-hours fun. Edda, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Camilla. It's so wonderful to be here with you, and happy Friday.
Happy Friday. As I mentioned, this is the perfect conversation for us heading into the weekend. And it's been a while since we had our last chat, but I know that you had a fantastic spring and summer because you went to 2 concerts, you saw 2 artists. One is Usher in London and an emerging artist, if you will, named Beyonce in Paris. Actually, before I ask you about the highlights of both those concerts, I thought about how this podcast has been kind of a tribute to Beyonce. She has been mentioned quite a few times by previous guests. One is we had Munir Panjwani, who was the CEO of Engage for Good. He mentioned how the Halo Award, which they give out every year, was inspired by Beyonce and one of her outfits, and then a few others. So I hope one day, I don't know how we can make it happen, but we somehow find a connection with her, and she graces us with her presence. But how were those concerts? What are the highlights of either or both of them?
Oh my gosh, they were fantastic. They were amazing. Just, I don't know what type of spectacular, right? They were all the things. And 2 very distinctly different concerts.
Yes.
And I went with 2 different, groups. One with my best friend, Jordana, to the Usher concert in London. We take a trip every year together. And then the Beyonce concert, I went with my sister, who just ended her first year of law school. And then my best friend here, where I live in Northern California, and neighbor, the 3 of us went to the Beyonce concert. It was just fantastic. Being in Paris with Beyonce and probably 80,000 people in the stadium. Mm-hmm. And we attended her concert in, San Jose, or not San Jose, wherever it was in San Francisco Bay Area a few years ago, prior to this one. So this is our second concert together.
Watching those 2 artists, but having some of the closest friends or family relatives you have around you, and in these venues, those are, I think that's like a recipe for a great time.
Yeah.
I did mention at the top of this episode how your work involves families and children. I'm curious to know if if there are any parenting skills that transfer well to your social impact work.
Oh my gosh, all of them. I have been a user of Common Sense Media since our eldest daughter, who is now 16, when she first started just watching television. Like, oh my gosh, can she watch the show? Is it appropriate for her? And so really, since I've been a parent, Common Sense has been involved. It's been a part of our lives.
I think one of the things too, as I learned more about you and your work, is that must be one of your biggest motivators, right?
Yeah.
Leading communications at Common Sense Media, doing the work that you do, and thinking about your daughters. You have 3, is that right?
3 daughters, yes. 3 daughters. A high schooler, a middle schooler, and an elementary school. And so we have every age you can imagine. And it really fuels me, right? When I joined Common Sense Media, I wanted to be impactful with my work. I wanted the work to be something I could champion and evangelize, right? And it touches on every single part of both my personal and professional life, and is inextricably linked, I will say, with both, especially with my personal life as a mother and a parent to 3 daughters, making sure that, while they are within this new digital world that we all find ourselves in, that they can thrive in that world safely. And there is a place I can go to and help other parents too, and share with other parents of like, this is where you can go to find out the safeguards. This is where you can go to help navigate these platforms. And we call them parent ultimate guides, and where you can, find out not only movie ratings and book ratings, really, but ratings on what platform is safe for your child, right? And what platform may not be as safe for your child, or what tool may not be safe for your child. And so really is critical work that we're doing, and I just love it so much.
So generally you are a social impact, professional. Was there one thing that you thought would be true about the work that you do or about social impact, but quickly learned that it wasn't?
One of my initial roles, I was a lobbyist, and which meant that I supported companies that needed their, in particular legislation promoted, within Congress on the federal level. And one of the things I love about lobbying is the persuasive communication, right? And the impact you can have, good or, the impact you can have when you are promoting legislation and talking to members of Congress and their staff about legislation that could change someone's life for the better, right? And showing them, bringing them stories of emotional equity. That's what I love to say, emotional equity, where you really put a face to whatever the challenge is, if it's healthcare, if it's an economic challenge, right? And it's really good depending on, what the topic is. It really is amazing social impact work. And sometimes you find, in politics or just in certain industry, that things can be shrouded as social impact or work that will change someone's life for the better, and you find out it's not, right? And that oftentimes can happen. And when that happened to me at a much earlier time in my career, many, many moons ago, right? But I understood it, and I learned from that opportunity, like, okay, you've got to not just take things as face value. You've got to really do your homework. You've got to read both sides and understand clearly both sides, so you can have clarity, but also a better understanding of how things are going and what could happen should the decision go one way or the other.
Preparedness, as you mentioned, research, but I feel like all of the things that we've touched on are pretty connected, because he also talked about persuasive communication skills, and then it got me thinking about parenting and how that is actually very critical.
Yeah.
If you are, you're raising a human being. So we're going to the meat of this particular one, this conversation. We don't need any persuasion. I will be asking you a lightning round of questions, Edda, and I hope that whatever comes to mind for you is what we'll be hearing today, or at least in the next couple of questions that I'll be asking. But I'm excited about this. Are you ready to play?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Public beach or a private pool?
Oh, private pool. Completely. Sand is the worst.
Sand is the worst. What a hot take for beach lovers out there.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'll take a beach, but you have a 4-year-old. It gets everywhere and it never leaves, ever.
Okay. Would you rather spend a day at an art, science, or history museum?
Oh, my goodness. That's a tough one. So I would say art and history. I love both deeply. And in another life, I was probably an art historian, right? I love, love, love history. Like whenever we travel as a family, we have to go to the history museum, the local history museum of wherever we are, and the local art museum, because it is so just fantastic to know what happened in that particular place in the world, right? And then how people reacted to that and why it appears in the way it is. I love art and history. So it would be both, those two.
Okay, let's pick either art or history. What's the best museum experience you've had? Like just, for anybody listening and they happen to be there in that part of the world.
Oh my gosh.
I'm making this hard for you.
Yeah, you are. In San Francisco, we have beautiful museums that always have a lovely exhibit. The DeYoung had a Kennedy Wiley exhibit for some time. It was breathtaking and beautiful. We took our children. Recently, this summer, for London, I went to the Tate, amazing exhibit. I can't remember the name of the artist, but it was beautiful, breathtaking, massive structure that was in the Tate. And then for Paris, there was this lovely exhibit at both the d'Orsay Museum and the Pompidou. It was around the Black experience in Paris, the last 25, 30 years. I was at the Pompidou, and then the d'Orsay, beautiful exhibit around just, there was Monet, and there's just beautiful, lovely, massive, art exhibit and canvas and colors, and just, it was so quiet. You just walk around and just look and gaze and think. And so both history and art, again, inextricably linked when you think about it. But I can't choose between the two.
I think it was tough for you because you've been to a handful that are amazing. And so maybe the challenge was more just to narrow it down. But listeners, Edda gave us quite a list of museums to check out. Okay, so this is another great one. Edda, finish this sentence for me. If I could have brunch with one Real Housewife cast member,
oh gosh,
it would be blank. But before you respond, whoever you say, whatever name you drop here, I will probably have to Google and research that person online. My knowledge of the Real Housewife universe is virtually non-existent, but I love learning. So who is it going to be?
I have two. I always have two. I don't know why. I have two. So I would say the first being Bozoma St. John. She's on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She is fantastic, amazing. Can't say amazing, just amazing, great things about her. 1000%. The second would be Sai De Silva from the New York Real Housewives franchise. She is fantastic. Same, like just amazing. I follow her on Instagram. I follow both of them on Instagram. They're both mothers. They both have their own careers and professional lives, and they are unabashedly themselves, which I love. No pretense, nor do they care what people think. And I just think that is beautiful and amazing and refreshing.
What is something more recently that you've tried for the first time?
Last year, I went camping for 5 days. And I'm not a camper, Camille, at all.
I'm not either.
I am not a camper. The last time I went camping prior to that was like 5th grade, right?
Which is a totally different experience.
It's totally different. And so it was 5 days. 2 days in a cabin, and then 3 days we ascended up this very steep mountain in the Sierra Buttes, and then we camped out on the ground in a tent. And that was an experience. So that's what
I've heard only from friends who love camping, like a bear sighting or, something wild.
Yeah.
Transpires, or even if it's not wild, like they experience something for the first time.
Yeah. Recently, speaking of bears, my husband and I took our 3 daughters to Yellowstone, and we saw a bear with its cub. It was so beautiful. It was lovely. And it was like a group of us, right, that were kind of like standing behind. We were very far away, like, but you could zoom in on your camera, zoom in on your phone to like capture this beautiful moment of this mother and her bear cub, and we're like, is that right? Everyone's like, the kids are like, there are little kids. There was maybe about 15 people with their children. And we're like, yeah, that's real. It's beautiful. And then you see, the mother is like walking. And then we look, she turns and looks and kind of like, come on, to the cub. And the cub is the cutest little thing you've ever seen, and just walks.
I mentioned I'm not a camper, but I am, like you, Edda, I'm adventurous. Like I would have, maybe my husband will be perplexed because I will maybe try to get a little bit closer. I don't know, like just because it's probably never going to happen to me again. So I would be so like in awe of that.
Yeah.
If you created a vision board for, let's say, next year, what are 3 things that would be on it?
Intention and purpose, those words, right? Because I try to live my life with intention and purpose in all things, both professionally and personally. So those 2 words are first and foremost very important. And faith as well. I'm a woman of faith. And so that's very important in my life. So those 3 words. And then I would have pictures of different places around the world I would love to travel with my family to introduce my children to more travel around the world. And we've taken them, to Europe, but would love to take more of those family trips with them to experience just the world and other cultures, and history and those art and history museums, right? And just walking throughout neighborhoods and cities and towns across the world, you can learn so much. And then I would have a list of books maybe that I'm interested in reading, podcasts that I'm interested in listening to, and journaling, trying to do that more. So just little things, both places I want to go, things I want to continue to do or start to do with intention and purpose, and as well as just plotting out, okay, where do I see myself this year, helping, making impact, supporting folks, and making a difference.
What do you feel like you want to accomplish in terms of your social impact, I don't know, footprint or work? Like maybe let's just think about next year.
Well, I would say, I would hope that the work we're doing at Common Sense Media really produces opportunities for kids to thrive safely online through legislation that we are championing in New York and California, right? When it comes to social media and AI, social companionship use, where, as I mentioned, like no one under 18, should use AI for companionship at all. So where that has grown and blossomed into more of a movement, protecting children and youth. And so I would love to see that on the board, like Common Sense Media does this.
We, Edda, I have learned so much about you. I already did when I first met you, but it's like I uncovered so much more. And you talked about, briefly when I asked you about your vision board, like books you want to read and podcasts. But lately, what has been your go-to after hours media? Like, what have you been watching? We know that one answer is the Real Housewives of New York and Beverly Hills. But, anything else that you've been watching, reading, or listening to lately?
Yes. Another show that I just got into was Loot. Maya Rudolph is in that. It's hilariously just funny, and she's such an amazing comedian and actress. So love that as well. And I've been listening to Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson's podcast, IMO. It is so insightful, and I love it. And the other podcast I've been listening to is Emma Greed's Aspire podcast. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So those are my two podcasts that I've also been listening to.
Before I let you go, Edda, is there anything that you want to share with our listeners or anything big that's coming up for you or you want to promote? We are, linking, resources and Common Sense Media, but anything else that you want to share?
Thank you for linking all of that. We, Common Sense Media, want to be a resource for parents, for caregivers, for educators. We just announced our Grand Alliance Fund, which is an opportunity for grandparents, and we like to say grand allies, to give to Common Sense Media in a way that allows them to feel good about what they're doing and helping their children and their grandchildren safely thrive online. So you can find more about that on our website and our LinkedIn page. We also have recently developed a LinkedIn Live Conversations with Common Sense Media series. So check that out on our YouTube page and our LinkedIn page as well, where we offer insights into the advocacy work we're doing, the social impact work, but also our new curriculum, digital literacy and well-being curriculum, which really is reimagined into this amazing. We have game cards. We have this really cool feature called carpool conversations where, we find we're in the car often, right? Taking our kids to and fro. And it's an opportunity to talk to kids in the car about social media, about just, what they're doing, how they feel about it, if they're on it, right? And how to navigate it safely. And so we have such amazing tools and resources. So I really appreciate you linking to those and allowing me to share what we're doing. We have so much going on at Common Sense Media in such a positive way. I'm so excited to just share that and for folks to check it out and become members and really get to know us on a deeper level, more than just, ratings and reviews, because we are so much more. We educate, we have curriculum, as you mentioned at the top of the show, K through 12 curriculum. And then we also advocate, and we have an amazing advocacy team who are really taking the reins in New York and California and on the federal level to make sure that we have safeguards in place, policy-wise for our kids. So thank you so much, Camille.
Edda, you kind of do it all, but also you have fun, which is the thesis of this very podcast, that these social impact professionals that we're introducing to our listeners, maybe they know them, maybe it's their first time hearing about them, but it's, we're well-rounded people. We have different, our lives are, not kind of always like maybe if you were to think about, oh, this is someone who works for a nonprofit or a social impact organization, like you think about one kind of person. But that's a myth. That's what I guess like what we'd like to think, and that's what we're presenting, and that's what we're sharing on Impact After Hours. So Edda, thank you so much for joining me, and we will see each other soon.
Thank you, Camille, so much. I've so enjoyed this, and that's so nice of you to say. And just I really appreciate and honored to be here with you and have this conversation, and look forward to staying in touch.